So if you didn't already know, Call of Duty Warzone integrates with Modern Warfare 3 on December 6th, which is actually tomorrow at the time that I'm making this video. And that means the updated gameplay changes to movement and other mechanics present in Modern Warfare 3, along with new innovations specific to Warzone, will be coming in a free update to all players, which is nice if you didn't end up buying Call of Duty this year. You might have already realized, but the background gameplay does showcase the new Urzikstan map in Battle Royale, which is something I was lucky enough to record at Call of Duty Next earlier in October, and I figured I'd just save some gameplay till now when you guys were probably more interested. I'm going to cover some of the new mechanics and changes in this video so that you guys are a bit more up to speed when the update drops, much like this guy. Talking of speed, you can actually control the speed of the train that goes around the map in Urzikstan. You can release or slam the brakes at the back of the train and up front control the direction. This might actually come in handy during late game zones when the zone just happens to be over a train track. Perhaps you can get on the train, reverse it, and use the train as cover in that final circle. There's even a buy station on the train, as well as a UAV tower and an ammo restock station, so you can definitely set yourself up for success in those final moments. Loadouts are back, of course. We're not being restricted like we were at the start of Warzone 2, and the current perk system from the existing version of Warzone is also continuing, with operators choosing from either a preset or a custom perk package consisting of 4 perks. And they can still be found in ground loot, whether dropped by an enemy player or found in supply boxes. Movement and rotation opportunities on Urzikstan have been a key focus of its design, so in this new chapter of Warzone, players will also find themselves with several perks enabled by default at all times. Tack pads improve slide distance and allow for full ADS while sliding, along with increased stance transition speeds. Try not to get distracted by this insane gameplay in the background, by the way. Commando gloves enables reloading while running, which is pretty cool, as well as quick grip gloves, say that 10 times fast, increasing your weapon swap speed. Okay, I'm getting distracted by my gameplay. Look at that kill feed. And yes, while we're on the topic, one-shot snipers are back in Warzone, and it feels so good. Part of the reason I think Verdansk and Warzone 1 was so popular was because of the sniping. We didn't see half the amount of clips and cool moments in Warzone 2 because of that. And yes, I know eventually they made explosive ammo or one-shot kill when equipped on sniper rifles, but it's no Kar 98K or HDR, is it? Anyway, I digress. This video is all over the place. Going back to the perks that are equipped by default, you also get climbing boots, which increase the climbing and mantle speed, which is actually really fast compared to Warzone 2, which is great. And the big one is that you actually get overkill for free without taking up a perk slot. That means that all players get the option to carry 2 primary weapons as well as their favorite perk 2 perk. I love this change. Okay, so here we are in the new Gulag. Thankfully we're back to 1v1s only. I never really liked the 2v2 style Gulag. And you don't just have to win the gunfight in order to escape. You might remember in Warzone 2, if you kill the Juggernaut, you'd get a key and you could escape that way. Well, in this version, if you're fast and ballsy enough to make a move for it, a rope will drop down in the middle of the arena, and a nice little nod to the Call of Duty 4 campaign, you can zip on out of there and return to the Warzone. Just be warned that you can both shoot and be shot at from the Ascender. There are also several new public events inside the Gulag, such as Go Again, an additional Gulag attempt if you lose the first fight, Cash Grab, which spawns more money on the floor with a big stack in the middle of the map, and an event called Locked and Loaded Weapons, which spawns you with an AMG and SMG loadout with full armor, helping the victor by bringing back some much needed power items into the match. We touched on some of the new Modern Warfare 3 perks that are equipped to your operator by default, but like I said at the start of the video, there are some new perks exclusive to Call of Duty Warzone. Irradiated being the first one, allowing you to move faster and take less damage while in the gas. Tempered, which you might already be familiar with, but it allows you to refill armor plates to full with 2 plates instead of the normal 3. Combat Scout, which again you might remember, but it allows you to live ping your enemy with the bullets that you fire at them, and hitting the enemy from further away increases the ping time. Next up, we have a perk called Resolute, which when taking damage from gunfire grants a short bonus to movement speed. This one kind of reminds me of the effects that are applied to Bangalore in Apex Legends when you get shot at. Then there's Shrouded, which drops a smoke grenade when downed, which will definitely help in those large open areas if you get sniped in the open. Stalker allows for increased strafe speed and aim down sight movement. Similar to that, we have a perk called Primed, which increases the accuracy and time to aim down sight while jumping. Escapist increases your downed, prone, and crouch speed. Definitely some insane movement perks here. There's even one called Mountaineer, which reduces your fall damage, and kinda sounds like it was made for a friend of mine. Last on the list is a perk called Faculty, which delays triggered explosives while sprinting, stuff like proximity mines and claymores. It also warns you of nearby enemy equipment and reduces combat noise, whatever that means. So yeah, as you can tell, these additional perks allow for an impressive variety of playstyles and perk packages, and the total number of perks now reaches over 30, with 5 new default perks plus 12 perks in slots 1 and 2, 10 perks in slot 3, and 7 perks in slot 4. That's a lot of perks coming to the new Warzone. As you can see, you can now manually equip the gas mask and toggle it on and off in your inventory. In the build we played at COD Next, it was a bit fiddly because the gas mask was at the very end on the far right of the inventory, but by the time you get to play, it should be at the very front, which is nice. They'll also be reducing the gas mask overlay so it's not quite as intrusive. You can just keep the gas mask on at all times now if you want to, and the annoying heavy breathing sound will only play when you're in the gas. Taking the mask on and off is going to take some getting used to, but depending on how intrusive this new overlay is, it may just benefit you to keep the mask on at all times. Contract activation will now also be easy. You'll have to look out for laptops instead of those tiny little receiver things. Definitely easier when running through a room quickly anyway. Loot distribution will also be better when opening a crate or killing an enemy. The loot won't just be piled on top of each other, which is nice. Weapons, equipment, kill streaks, and more will now appear with a color-coded tooltip to indicate the value and rarity of the item, as well as if the weapon is a custom loadout. And you may see a running trend here that a lot of these quality of life changes are all stuff that we had in the original version of Warzone. But it's great to see that now Warzone is out of the hands of Infinity Ward and back in the hands of Raven Software, who made a lot of good changes to Warzone back in the day. Hopefully now we'll see that Warzone is back on an upward trajectory and it stays that way. I think we can all agree that Warzone 2 killed a lot of the momentum for this franchise and Battle Royale in general. Everyone's kind of bored of it now, so it's going to be interesting to see just how well Warzone does when it launches, but this isn't technically Warzone 3, so it doesn't have the marketing behind it to bring a lot of those players back. I think word of mouth is going to be really important this time around, and Sledgehammer and Raven have kind of taken a lot of steps to make the game more fun again and back to the roots that we remember. But is it too little too late, and has the damage already been done? I guess time will tell. The new Warzone update will launch with Plunder, so all those players that didn't purchase Modern Warfare 3 will be able to grind out new weapons in that mode more easily. Resurgence is back too, as well as Ashika and Vondel remaining as playable maps in Warzone. Urzikstan does however replace Al Mazrah completely, and the only way to play Al Mazrah in the future is via DMZ. DMZ however will no longer be supported as a game mode. Here's another look at one of the new public events in the Gulag. This one is NVGs only, but I don't think this one is in at launch and will be coming in season later this month. We have public events inside Warzone already, but it's interesting to see some of these new Gulag ones at play. But there is another public event coming to the actual Warzone called Flyby, which will just drop off a load of buy stations across the map, it seems like. I'm sure that'll have its clutch moments when you need to buy a teammate back or a gas mask. Buy stations will also be available to use inside the gas, but only within a 30-meter radius of the current circle, and you'll even spawn with a backup pistol regardless of what weapons you're carrying. So if you had two primary weapons, you wouldn't be stuck when you go into the water or get on a ladder. Having the option to fight back during those endgame water circle finishes is going to be much appreciated after this past year. There are so many quality of life changes coming to this game now, it's impossible to explain them all, so I'm just going to quick fire them and you can try and keep up. Legendary Supply Box Guitar Riff Celebration is back. OG Loadout crate model has returned. Allied loadout crates now have an in-world highlight. Gas mask is now the first item in the loadout UI, we mentioned this earlier. Loadout UI is now in a carousel. Gulag entry kits can now be stowed in the backpack for a teammate, so you could carry multiple of them and share them around. Increased Gulag entry kit drop rate in loot. Backpack to loadout auto-equip of items. Enemy pings showing kill cams. That one's going to be huge, so you can actually see how an enemy saw you based on the pings that they made. There's no weapon tuning in the gunsmith anymore. I love this. Weapon tuning added so much time to creating a class that I'm just so glad that's gone. There is now post-victory Gulag looting, so you have time to grab the stuff on the floor and bring it back to the Warzone. Buy stations will show on the TAC map if they're accessible. There's a new buy station inventory. Slide distance is now impacted by surface incline, so if you're going down a hill like Apex, you'll go further. If you go up a hill, I assume you won't go as far. Fire sale discount is now up to 50% off, and smoke grenade duration has been nerfed by 20%. Portable radar distance is doubled to 76 meters, so you have a nice little portable UAV. Armor box, ammunition box no longer have a delay when deployed. This one was a pain in the ass. Basically, when you drop the box, it would take a while before you could actually interact with it. Now that delay will be gone. They've reduced the loadout cost to $15,000, and the loadout cost scales based on squad size, which is huge. Modern Warfare 3 operators will have a new default parachute. Interesting. I guess it's just a flex if you have the game or not. Strongholds are back, but I think they're also public events. They're not polluting the map with AI anymore, and abandoning a stronghold will neutralize it. Plate carriers are now one-to-one in function with their perk. Stealth vest no longer counters an advanced UAV. I actually didn't know that one, but I guess the normal UAV will still keep you hidden. I think everyone's going to be using Ghost anyway. Redeploy drones only move when they are deep in the gas. They used to move all over the place, so that's good to hear. There's increased redeploy drone catapult distance, so if you go up a drone zip line, then you'll be catapulted further. There's less extreme default first circle, so I assume you'll take less damage. The low health visual overlay is more transparent for better visibility, so the blood that's on your screen will be easier to see through. That overlay also only starts at lower health, so you won't have it the first bullet you take, you know? Spawn protection time has been decreased to 2.5 seconds from 10 seconds. So, you know when you were shooting someone out the sky before and you had to beam them for ages before you did any damage? That protection is now only 2.5 seconds. Reduce the slowdown when landing from a jump, so that impact that you used to take when you hit the floor, you'll now have a faster recovery time, it seems like. More contracts will be available in the late game, we love that. The scavenger contract is back and awards guaranteed plate carrier, yes. The intel contract capture can be sped up by multiple squad mates being present, much like domination if you were to stand on a flag. The most wanted contract now awards guaranteed Gulag entry in the supply box, that's pretty huge. And the input delay when getting in a vehicle to accelerate has been reduced by 50%, so you'll start the vehicle faster. That is a lot of info, guys, and I've barely scratched the surface, so if you're excited for Warzone and all these upcoming changes, then let me know in the comments. If not, then I also want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. Obviously, there's a lot of good changes here, I think you can all agree, but whether or not it's just too late for you and you're bored of Warzone and moved on to other things, maybe it's just Battle Royale in general that you're bored with, let me know down below. Of course, I'm still going to be playing Warzone. I didn't play a lot of Warzone 2 this past year, I just wasn't interested. They took away a lot of the features that we loved and added a lot of features that slowed the game down. And now they're adding them all back with a load of new features on top of that. So it's very weird, the predicament we found ourselves in, but I'm going to be playing regardless, as I said. Warzone has always been good fun with friends, regardless of how fun the actual base game is. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more, and I will catch you legends in the next one.